Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Camden and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Wednesday, it's officially the hottest day of the year. The sun is beaming, it's boiling hot outside, and you know what the sun does, you know what happens when it's hot. Everyone's a little bit more positive, everyone's a little bit more uplifted, and we are here today to talk positively about the future of Everton Football Club. We're going to sit down and we're just going to talk positively for once, because it's been a day where there has been a little bit more negativity than there is usually surrounding Everton Football Club. And if you didn't know why, on this day in 1995, Everton won the FA Cup final by beating Manchester United by 1-0. Paul Rideout scored the goal in the final. And you might be sitting there thinking, why is that a negative thing? Why is it bad that on this day 25 years ago, Everton won a major trophy? Everton won the FA Cup. And that is because that was actually the last major honour or honour of any sort that Everton won, and it was 25 years ago to this day. So there's been a lot of sort of morbid, tweets and social media posts about the fact that the last 25 years has been full of, negativity and just full of mediocrity and inconsistency is another word that describe it. But I'm here today to talk positively about the future of the football club. We're going to talk about the Hummel deal, which has been announced today by the club themselves. If you didn't know, Everton have announced that Hummel will be the new kit manufacturer going forward. They've signed a 3-year contract. It's said to be worth between £8 and £10 million per year, which is double, I believe, what Umbro were previously paying us. So it's a massive deal in regards to finances. It's a lucrative deal, and it's a step forward for the football club. So we'll talk about that in a little bit later on, and why I think that's a positive move and why I think it's better than what some people maybe think. But I want to talk about the future of Everton Football Club and why at this point in time, currently sitting here on the 20th of May 2020, obviously taking away everything that's happening in the world currently, for me, Everton are in the best position that we've ever been in since that 1995 Cup final. And when you look back at the 25 years, and like I said, I don't want to look back too much on the 25 years because, it hasn't been great. It has been filled with mediocrity. It has been filled with inconsistency. But when you look at, the past 25 years and the managers we've had in those 25 years, we've had David Moyes, obviously. We've had Roberto Martinez. We've had Ronald Koeman. We've had Sam Allardyce. We've had, Marco Silva. When you look at all of those managers that we've had, obviously post Joe Royle, since that FA Cup final victory, we have never had a manager of the quality of Carlo Ancelotti, and arguably we've never had a manager of the quality of Carlo Ancelotti ever at Everton Football Club, but certainly not in the past 25 years. We're also sitting on the fact that, we're due to move into a brand new stadium, a massive move for the football club within the next few years or so. So the position that we're currently sitting in now is the best position that we've been in 25 years. And okay, it's very easy to look back and think, bloody hell, how's it been 25 years since the day we last won a trophy? Yeah, it's sad and it's a little bit annoying and it's frustrating, but we have to look forward. We have to be positive because currently we're sitting with one of the best managers in world football currently in the dugout of Everton Football Club in Carlo Ancelotti. For me, top 3 best managers to ever live. Seriously. We've got a new stadium on the horizon. We've got a director of football who, okay, some might still question, some of his signings, but one thing's for sure, he's brought in some absolutely fantastic players since he's been at Everton Football Club. Richarlison, obviously, namely, Richarlison for me is our best player at the moment, technically, ability-wise. He's absolutely fantastic. He's got a natural goal-scoring threat. He's brilliant in the air. He's skillful. He's got pace. He's technically good. And also, he's a player that absolutely loves the football club and absolutely loves the fan base to death. So he's brought in Richarlison. He's also brought in Luca Dean, who we know is a good player, Andre Gomez, a plethora of decent players. So I wanted to just sit down and talk positively because there has been a lot of negativity on social media, and there was a lot of negativity before the Hummel deal was announced, and then the Hummel deal was announced, and there hasn't been an awful lot, but there's still been some people that maybe aspire to to have somebody like a Nike or an Adidas or an Under Armour manufacture the kits for Everton Football Club. But I'm going to talk about why those companies might not necessarily be as good as what they seem at first, and why Hummel possibly is a perfect fit for Everton. So we'll go into talking about that one a little bit later on in the live stream. Get your thoughts in the live comments as per usual. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. We'll talk firstly about the Hummel deal because it's the breaking news. It's come out today. And obviously, it's definitely worth talking about. And then we'll go on to talking about the future of the football club and Carlo Ancelotti as well, because we really, really should be looking forward to the future. Anyway, the Hummel deal, if you didn't know, Everton have announced that they are partnering up with sports brand Hummel. Hummel will create and manufacture our home, third and away kits, as well as all of the training gear and all of the lounge gear and leisure gear, etc., for the upcoming 3 years. The deal is said to be worth between £8 and £10 million a year, which is double what we were getting for Umbro, leading the deal to be around about £30 million in whole. I'm assuming that there will be some form of clause in the deal which says that we can extend if we want to. We've got that possibility. Hummel also come out on their official Twitter, just a little bit of a side note, a couple of hours ago, and they were asked a direct question by an Evertonian as to when we can expect to see the first glimpses, or when we can expect to see the reveal of the home kit for the 2020-2021 season. They did reply back to that tweet saying within a couple of weeks or so, and it's since been removed. So obviously Everton have probably had a little bit of a word with them there and said don't give too much away. But again, when the Hummel deal was first announced, there was a lot of Evertonians, don't get me wrong, that were seeing it as a positive move. I'm going to talk about why I think Umbro ultimately failed at Everton Football Club this time round in a second as well. But there was also a couple of Evertonians that weren't so happy. A couple of people that had the view that Hummel were a big brand 20 years ago, but might not necessarily be a big brand now. And a couple of people that you always get that, you always get people that whenever there's a rumour about us breaking the partnership with our current kit manufacturer, there's always, those people, and it's not a bad thing. I've been one of them myself, that think, right, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to go and partner with a Nike, go and partner with an Adidas, go and partner with an Under Armour, and those companies obviously are lucrative and are the companies that notoriously pay the most money and notoriously have the most sort of status behind them, or whatever you want to call it, because people know the clubs that are associated with those brands. However, it doesn't mean that they're a perfect fit for Everton Football Club. I'll talk about why Hummel, I think, is a very, very good fit for the football club in just a moment. But firstly, I want to talk about why the likes of your Nikes, your Adidas, your Under Armours mightn't be as good as some people may think, or it may have been made out that they are. The reason for that is, right, okay, you might be sponsored by a Nike, or Nike might be manufacturing your kits, and you might be able to sit there and go, boss, we've got, Nike kits, and everyone's going to look at us and go, oh, they're sponsored by Nike, they're sponsored by Adidas. Great, and there's, there's a level that I was thinking about this before, and I thought there's a little bit of a scale, and say the perfect manufacturer is here. You've got Nike, who are probably, for their notoriety and for their fame, you've got, right, okay, you've got them up here. People know who they are. People automatically associate, Nike with team like Barcelona, previously Man United before they joined Adidas. People know them. They've got that notoriety. Okay, you might have some Nike boots in your shop, boss, a little bit further up as well. However, there is negatives to being sponsored by a side like Nike as well. One of the negatives I mentioned in my video that I done a little bit earlier on, just a brief announcement for the Hummel deal. And one of those negatives for, companies like Nike and Adidas, etc., when they're sponsoring or they're manufacturing your kits, rather, should I say, keep saying sponsoring by accident, is that, they've got 50, 60, 70 other clients that are probably in a better situation than Everton Football Club are in a minute, i.e. clients that are winning their domestic competitions year in, year out, winning their league year in, year out, challenging for the Champions League year in, year out. So if Everton were to be sponsored by a Nike or an Adidas, I know exactly what would happen. Everton would be given a kit that may be absolutely boss design-wise, because those companies are genuinely quite good design-wise as well, but I guarantee it'd look exactly the same as the kit of a second-tier division in Spain or a second-tier division in Germany, and the only difference would be the badge. And I know that a lot of manufacturers use the same sort of styles and the same sort of techniques and stuff when making kits. Umbro have done it multiple times over the years when making Everton and West Ham's kits. We've practically had the same kit but with a different colour and a different badge. But Adidas and Nike and companies like that, they're notorious for making kits very, very similar and only really doing specific designs for those top clubs that are bringing them in all that money. There's no guarantee that Nike or an Adidas would have come in to manufacture Everton's kits, by the way, and given us 60, 70, 80, 90 million. There's rumours left, right and centre that, these companies pay the big clubs, pay the massive clubs, your Barcelonas, your Man Uniteds, whatever, pay them 90, 150 million odd a year over 5 years to manufacture their kits. There's no guarantee that they'd do that for an Everton. They could come in and say, right, okay, we'll give you $5 million a year to manufacture your kits, and I'm sure that Everton probably had those discussions with the likes of your Nikes and your Adidas, etc., and probably found that Hummel were willing to pay more. It's a record deal for Everton Football Club, and we've been sponsored. We've had Nike manufactured our kits previously, and this is a record deal. We've had Puma manufactured our kits recently, but this Hummel deal is a record deal for the football club, which has a lot to be said. Like I said, we'll talk about it later. Also, with the Nike and Adidas and Under Armour thing and those sort of big, massive manufacturers, is that, you know, it's brilliant. You'll get a kit and it'll be announced and it'll be revealed, and you'll think, oh, boss, it looks boss. Look at that boss new Everton Nike kit, or look at that boss new Everton Adidas kit, and it looks amazing. And then ultimately, the first day of the season comes and you think, right, okay, I'm going to get myself down the shop, I'm going to buy the new top, I'm going to put it on, I'm going to go for a pint, and I'm going to go to the match, and there'll be loads of people with the new tops on. And then you go into the shop before the game and they're wanting 150, 160 quid for the jersey, just for the top. Kids, notoriously, whenever the new kit comes out, they want the entire kit. Shorts, socks, top, number and name on the back with the Premier League badges. A lot of Nike sort of kids kits and Adidas kids kits, they're costing parents £200 odd for the full sort of kit, and people just don't have that money. I remember Nike put out Manchester United's kit a couple of years ago. I think it was when they first started getting sponsored by Nike, or started having Nike manufacture their kits, and it was something like £170 for the jersey, and I was thinking, that's absolutely extortionate. I think Southampton's top manufactured by Under Armour was something like £100 a couple of years ago, which was absolutely ridiculous. Where you compare that to our tops that were, you know, when they were manufactured by Umbro, for example, £55, very, very affordable, and now on sale for £15. All three tops this season: the home kit, the third kit, and the away kit. So if you want one of them, go over and have a look. But £55 for me is very, very reasonable, and it means that the club will ultimately sell more, because, you know, Everton Football Club aren't going to sell the same amount of shirts if they're 150 quid than they would if they were 50 quid. Now, again, we don't know how much Hummel will charge for their kits, but I'm just basing off of what Umbro done. And Umbro, I think we're very close to being that ultimate perfect level of, right, okay, you've got that sort of notoriety. People know you are, you know, you sponsor, you know, various clubs, you're very reasonable price-wise, and your designs are good. For me, Umbro were very, very reasonable price-wise. Their designs were decent as well. I think all three kits this season look very, very good. I think all three kits last season were very good as well. However, their marketing and the way they released the kits last season, or for this season, sorry, was absolutely, it was shocking, mate. It was absolutely shambolic. And I hope that Hummel take that on board, and Hummel really, really do make an effort to make sure that kits can be announced on time, and when they're announced and when they're revealed, they don't have to put the date back as to when they're going to be available in store. Because as soon as you put a social media post up of Dominic Calvert-Lewin wearing the new Everton home kit, or Tom Davies wearing the new Everton home kit, or Jordan Pickford wearing the new Everton goalie kit, people want that kit. Specifically, younger kids want that kit immediately. They don't want to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks for it. They want it immediately. And what Umbro had a problem with is that they'd reveal the kits, they'd say that they'd be available for a certain date. Loads of people had pre-ordered them for the kids, and maybe even themselves, and then they pushed that date back because they couldn't handle the demand behind it, which realistically they should have been able to handle. Umbro, for me, I was pissed off. I was really pissed off at the start of this season with the way Umbro handled the reveal and the release of all three kits. I think the home kit was delayed for a couple of weeks or so. The away kit was announced at like 6:45 in the morning. I've told this story before. I was in Mexico with my friends when the away kit was announced, and it was announced at like 2 o'clock Mexico time, because I'd just come in from a night out, and I remember thinking, bloody hell, it must be about 6 o'clock at home, and they've announced the away kit. That was also announced via The Echo. The Echo were the first people to put it out, which I think is ridiculous. Again, the football club should be the first people to reveal the kit, or the manufacturer. And then the third kit wasn't even ready for the start of the Premier League season. Everton had to play in last year's third kit on the first game of this season against Crystal Palace, and you had players like Moise Kean, Jean-Philippe Gbamin. I'm not too sure if Iwobi and Delph played, but Keenan and Gbamin definitely played in that third kit from last season. And when that kit was, you know, in play, if you like, they weren't even signed to the football club. So for me, Umbro was shambolic in regards to the releases of all three kits this season. The way they marketed them was poor as well, and it just wasn't great in terms of the designs and the you know, how affordable they were. it was pretty good, can't really complain. But like I said, the marketing, which is a massive thing in this day and age, when marketing products and when marketing kits and when marketing, different designs and stuff, they just couldn't get it right, and that showed this season, and they've done that previously as well. On to Hummel. Like I said, in regards to Nike and Adidas, you might have the top marketing, you might have nice designs, people might look at you and think, oh, they're sponsored by Nike and Adidas, but ultimately you're going to be paying 150 quid for the jersey, and realistically, is anybody paying 150 quid for the jersey? Have people really got that amount of money to just throw away on a football shirt? Whereas, under Umbro, 50 odd quid. Under Hummel, I'm assuming it'll be, round about the same sort of price as well, which is fantastic. So anyway, on to the Hummel deal. If you're enjoying the scene, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're going to tweet the steam out so everybody knows that we all are. But on to the Hummel deal. Like I said, Hummel's official Twitter basically leaked before that they will they'll reveal the kit, or they'll announce the kit within the next couple of weeks ago. The tweet has since been removed for obvious reasons, probably because the club want to be the first ones to reveal that information. The club want to be the first ones to let that information out. But again, a lot of people, and it seems to be opposition fans, it seems to be fans that aren't fans of Everton Football Club. A lot of people, are sort of getting at the fact that Hummel don't really sponsor any other big named football club. For example, I think they sponsor Coventry, they sponsor a couple of clubs in the lower division, and they sponsor a couple of clubs abroad, and they're quite big abroad, and you get that with companies. You're not going to get every single manufacturing company that's massive in England or Great Britain. You get some manufacturing companies that are massive in Denmark, some that are massive in Spain, some that are massive in Britain, some that are massive in the USA. It just so happens that the likes of Nike's, Adidas's, Pumas, they're massive worldwide, whereas Hummel is massive, in another country. I think it's Denmark, if I'm not wrong. So we are by far the biggest club that Hummel manufacture kits for. I'd say in the world. I'd go as far as saying definitely in England, in the United Kingdom. And some people, strangely, are taking that as a little bit of a negative. I'm taking it as a massive positive. Why would you not want to be your kit manufacturer's biggest club? That for me means that Hummel are going to do their absolute best, give their absolute all to make sure that Everton Football Club themselves and the fans of Everton Football Club, us, are happy with the products that they are producing, because we are their biggest, we're their biggest sponsor, we're their biggest club that they manufacture kits for. We're their biggest customer, that's the word I'm looking for. We're their biggest customer, so they're going to try absolutely everything in order to keep us for the entirety of those 3 years and beyond. If we were sponsored by a Nike and we weren't happy with the kit, or we weren't happy with the prices, Nike could go, we sponsor, Barcelona and PSG and all these other clubs, so you just shut up, we don't really care. Same with Adidas, they'd go, we sponsor Juve and Real Madrid and Man United, so just shut up, don't care. But if we turn around to Hummel and say, listen, we are very happy with that design, or we are very happy with the way that you treated the release for this kit or that kit, or we are very happy with the price of the products, they're gonna listen, because we are their biggest customer, and they're gonna want to do as much as they possibly can to keep us. So I think it's an absolute massive positive that we're Hummel's biggest customer, and that we're the biggest club that they manufacture for. Because if we were having our kits manufactured by a Nike or Adidas, they wouldn't give a fuck about if we had any issues as a fan base, or if the club had any issues. And that's why the Nike deal originally, when we first were sponsored by Nike in 2012-13, that's why that deal felt a bit after 2 years, because we had certain concerns and we had certain issues, and they just weren't happy to listen to them. All as they wanted is for the kits to cost an extortionate amount of money, and for us to be able to have Nike football boots in our shops for fans to be able to go in and maybe pick up a new pair of football boots. They weren't asked about any concerns, because we aren't at that level where we can demand concerns from the likes of a Nike or Adidas. We aren't winning our league every year. We aren't challenging in the Champions League. Whereas a Hummel, we could turn around to Hummel and say, we're not happy with this, we're not happy with that, and they would give their absolute all, and I'm confident they would give their absolute all to make sure that they rectified those mistakes, and they made sure that we were 100% happy, which ultimately, for it's just a give an outcome, one big outcome. Ultimately, it means that we're probably going to get a better product from Hummel than we would from any of those other companies. We got decent products from Umbro, but they were poor in marketing them. Hopefully Hummel are going to be able to sit down and look at the marketing and really figure out how to market correctly. And moreover, and probably more importantly to a lot of fans, the products that we're going to be getting from Hummel are going to be the best that they possibly can be, because they're going to make sure they are, because A, we demand it as a club and as a fan base, and B, they don't want to let us down because we're their biggest customer, and they're paying us a lot of money, and we're going to be showcasing their products, and we're going to be showcasing their brand and their company and their name to thousands and hundreds of thousands of fans across the world, and we're going to be showcasing their brand on Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti will be wearing an Everton trackie at some point, or an Everton top at some point, that will have Hummel's brand on it. So Hummel will be able to use that for their own advantage. So it works both ways. It really, really does work both ways. And I think the Hummel deal is a perfect deal for Everton, not just because we're their biggest customer now and they'll be doing as much as they can to make sure that we're happy. Also because I think they've actually had some decent designs in the past. If Hummel were a company that every single kit they'd made was absolutely shite, I'd be a bit worried. But they've had some decent designs in the past. They used to manufacture Real Madrid's kits. They've manufactured national sides kits previously, and I think still do. They've had some decent designs, and like I said in the little video earlier on, name me a kit manufacturer that's not had a bad design. I can name an Adidas kit that's absolutely dreadful. I can name a Nike kit that's absolutely dreadful. I can name an Umbro kit that's absolutely dreadful. Name me a kit manufacturer that hasn't had a shocking kit. Hummel have had some decent ones. Granted, they've had some shocking ones as well, but there's a couple that they've announced recently and that they're working on recently that actually look really, really sharp and really, really nice and really, really classy. And as long as the new Everton kits for the 2020-21 season look sharp, look classy, are marketed correctly, and there's no issues with the marketing and with the release and with the reveal of them, and they're affordable, then I've got no issue with Hummel manufacturing Everton Football Club's kits for the next 3 seasons, and the training gear as well, because I'm assuming that the training gear will again, will have that much work sort of put into it as the kits will have. So overall, listen, I'm happy. It works on that point of view, like I said. It works financially as well. It's £8 to £10 million per year, which is substantially more than Umbro were paying us. I think it's double what Umbro were paying us. Hummel seem very, very keen to get started. They seem very, very keen to get involved, and they'll be looking to impress. And ultimately, although they've announced that the kit will be revealed within the next couple of weeks or so, which probably hasn't made people at Everton Football Club happy, ultimately it's still a massive positive, and I think the Hummel deal is fantastic for Everton Football Club going forward. Again, staying on the positivity road, we're on the positivity road today. Let's not worry about the fact that it's been 25 years since we last won a trophy. Let's not worry about the fact that you might have had 7 texts from your local Liverpool fan today taking the piss out of you. I really don't understand why Liverpool fans are so obsessed with Everton, by the way. It confuses me. If Everton Football Club had just won a European Championship and were cruising to the Premier League, the last thing on my mind would be Liverpool Football Club, or the last time Liverpool Football Club won a trophy. I wouldn't even know when the last time Liverpool Football Club won a trophy was, and I definitely wouldn't give a fuck. So ignore those. Ignore the past 25 years, because like we said at the start of the video, the past 25 years has been filled with a lot of mediocrity, with a lot of inconsistency, and with a lot of poor displays by players and managers. We've seen a lot of bad managers, we've seen a lot of bad players come through the doors in those 25 years. We've also seen a lot of decent managers and a lot of decent players. But one thing I sit down and think about is, over those 25 years, and bearing in mind I've only been alive for 21 of those years, in my 21 years of existence on this planet, I've probably seen 3 really good seasons for Everton Football Club. I've seen multiple decent seasons and okay seasons and not too bad seasons, but I've probably seen 3 really, really good seasons for Everton Football Club. Again, like I said at the start of the live stream, the reason as to why I want to do this live stream, to feed positivity throughout the fan base, is because I say this and I stress this so much. We have never, ever, ever been, in those 25 years, in as good of a position as we are now. We've got one of the best managers in world football leading our team. We've got a new stadium on the horizon. We've seen the plans for the new stadium. We've seen the pictures for the new stadium. It looks absolutely unbelievable. It really, really does. It looks fantastic. We've seen the work that's gone into that. We've seen the fact that Everton have employed Lando Rourke, who are going to do all of the the sort of the work on that as well. We've seen massive steps taken in the last 12 to 18 months regarding the stadium. Massively positive. We've got a director of football who appears to know what he's doing. Yes, okay, he might have made a couple of mistakes, but he's brought in a few very, very good players, and a few players that Everton are more than more than thankful for. Certainly the likes of your Richarlison, who has been unbelievable, or Richarlison has been unbelievable in the 18 months that he's been here. He's created such a connection with the fans. He's created such a bond with the fans. The likes of Luca Dean, who's been fantastic as well. Andre Gomez, Jean-Philippe Gbamin, who we still haven't seen an awful lot of, but he looks a really, really good player. So there's plenty of things to be happy about and to look forward to the future. And okay, I understand that it's only today that people are probably going to have a little bit of a negative outlook on the football club, and it's only today that people are probably going to feel a little bit down, because it has been 25 years since we last won a major honour. It's been highlighted today because it was a fantastic day. It really, really was a fantastic day, and I think we should look on it with fond memories, and we should look on it positively. We shouldn't judge that day by the fact that we've had 25 years of shite since then. However, like I said, I put this question to anyone. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm just one Evertonian with an opinion. I put this question to anyone watching the live comments, and we'll get in the live comments in a minute, as well as anyone watching as a YouTube video. Have you ever felt as confident that Everton will be successful in the future? And by successful, I mean winning trophies, winning silverware, challenging where we should be challenging. Back to, again, I don't want to say like the sides in the 80s, but similar to the sides in the 80s and the way they played and the way they were challenging. Have you ever been as confident that Everton will get to that stage in the last 25 years as you are now, with Carlo Ancelotti as the manager, the new stadium on the horizon, and a decent director of football in charge of transfers and stuff? Have you ever been as confident? Potentially maybe the Roberto Martinez first season, but other than that, have you ever been as confident in Everton Football Club being successful as you are now? Because I know I've never been as confident, and although we've gone 25 years with pain and with hate and without a trophy, I'm saying this now, and I don't want to jinx it. I'm not guaranteeing Everton anything, obviously, but I do believe that Carlo Ancelotti will bring Everton a trophy within the next 2 years. Whether it's the Carabao Cup, whether it's the FA Cup, doesn't matter what it is. I believe Carlo Ancelotti will bring Everton silverware within the next 2 years. And the reason for that is Carlo Ancelotti's been in the Everton job for less than 6 months. And already we've seen massive improvements in the squad. Already we've seen 2 young players break through the squad and become absolutely fantastic. I disclude Richarlison because he was brilliant anyway, but we've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin come on tenfold since Carlo Ancelotti's come in, and we've seen Mason Holgate come on tenfold since Carlo Ancelotti's come in. That just shows the man management of the man. Carlo Ancelotti come in, and within 2 weeks of him signing the contract for Everton Football Club, he was saying to Dominic Calvert-Lewin that you can be one of the best centre forwards in Europe. And even at that point, a lot of Evertonians were going, bit ambitious, that he's good, but he's probably not going to be one of the best centre forwards in Europe. Fast forward 2 or 3 months later, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is one of the best centre forwards in the Premier League, which by default means that he's one of the best centre forwards in Europe. I don't care what anybody says, and that shows what a manager just putting their arm around the player and believing in that player when they see that there's ability and when they see that there's potential can do. Carlo Ancelotti's also come into Everton, and we've won an away game. How many away games did we win under Marco Silva? 4, 5. Carlo Ancelotti's come in, and I think we've won 3 already since he's come in the Premier League. He's also managed to win a game when going behind. We never done that once under Marco Silva in the Premier League. We never won a game when we conceded first. Carlo Ancelotti come in, and within a couple of weeks or so, we were 2-0 down against Watford, and we won that game 3-2. We showed fight, we showed passion, we showed a change in mentality. And Ancelotti himself said that he doesn't believe he changed the mentality at Everton Football Club, but I honestly do think he did, because there was a change in mentality in that game. Under Marco Silva, we don't beat Watford on that day, but we did beat Watford. And like I said, all of this has happened, winning away games comfortably, turning games around to win them, winning home games comfortably, the improvement of young players, the improvement of the squad in general, the belief the players have in the manager, the relationship the manager has with the fans and the players have with the manager. All of this has happened in less than 6 months of Carlo Ancelotti's reign at Everton Football Club. He hasn't even got started. He hasn't even scratched the surface with what he wants to do with this football club moving forward and the project. So there is more than enough to be happy about, and there's more than enough to be positive about in the future going forward for Everton. Yes, okay, it's been shit for 25 years, we get that, but that 25 years is over now, and there's no reason as to why we should be looking back on it and dwelling on it or worrying about it or being negative about it, because we should be sitting here now and thinking, hang on, there's 2 managers who are probably arguably better than Ancelotti or on the level of Ancelotti, and it's probably Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. Other than that, there's no manager in world football, don't care what anybody says, that is as successful or as good as Carlo Ancelotti is at managing. Frank Lampard said it yesterday on the TheMightyBlues. Frank Lampard come out and said that Carlo Ancelotti is the best man manager he's ever worked under. And he worked under the Jose Mourinho, who was known for his good man management skills. We should be sitting here now going, forget the past 25 years. Let's celebrate the FA Cup win, because it was a fantastic win and it was a really good team and it was a fantastic goal by Paul Rideout. And let's now look to the future. We've got Carlo Ancelotti as our manager. We've got a new stadium on the horizon. We've got world-class talent and world-class potential talent in Richarlison, who not only is a world-class player, but also absolutely loves the bones of the football club. And half the time, I think you're as much of an Everton fan as you are, any one of us. Because you're tweeting, Romelu Lukaku to tell him to come back to Everton. You're tweeting pictures of Everton. You're liking pictures of Everton from the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. You're an Everton fan and you're a fantastic player. We've got the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Mason Holgate, Moise Keane, who's come out and apologised, and now we can sort of think about his future at the football club and his potential. We've got a director of football who is very good at bringing young talent in. Yes, okay, he hasn't been perfect, and there's been holes in his work, and there's been things that he can be criticised for, granted, but he brought Richarlison in at a point that no other top team wants to touch him. A lot of clubs, even a lot of Everton fans at the time, were saying this kid's only had a good sort of 6 months, and then he's had a really bad 6 months. He hadn't scored in 5 months or something like that when we signed him from Watford. He's come in and he's one of the best players in Europe. He's leading the line for Brazil. He's won a Copa America. Luka Dean, very similarly, come in. Okay, he's had an on and off season this season, but fantastic in his first season. There's so much to be positive about going forward, and we just need to be positive. We really, really do. Anyway, I'm going to get into the live comments now because I've rambled for far too long. Let's get into the live comments. Let's have a little bit of water first, though, because I think it's always important to drink, especially when you're rambling on. Wayne has said, bear with me a second, I'm just loading them because the stream's being a little bit slow at the minute. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. I had loads of support on the channel recently, so big thank you very much for all of the support. It means a massive amount to me. Listen, I'm just going to apologise straight away now. I've just refreshed the live stream because it was froze a little bit, and it's got rid of a lot of the first sort of 10-15 minutes worth of comments, so I apologise about that. I know Wayne said that people shouldn't be unhappy with the Hummel deal because, Umbro were poor, and I agree with that. Every other comment, I'm sorry, I've missed them because YouTube's just decided to absolutely delete them. So if you've got a comment that you put in within the first 10-15 minutes of the stream, get it back in the comments and I'll read it now. Kev says blue. I'm not even going to repeat that. Wayne says Everton have submitted the new bid for legal defender Gabriel. Apparently, according to Nico Shearer again, Everton have bid £30 million for the player. However, I don't believe it. I don't believe Everton had bid that much for the player, and I don't believe Everton will pay that much for the player this summer. But yeah, there you go. Eugene says history of Hummel. Spot on. Wayne says, I remember like it was yesterday. Think you missed that one, lad. I did. I was born in 98, so I missed it, unfortunately. God says, and Ancelotti, we trust 100%. Hernandez says, does everybody not remember the years of battle and relegation? Not sure why everybody was so pessimistic about the amazing things happening at the football club. Yeah, and listen, we've had 25 years of mediocrity, and that's fine to, to be unhappy about that, and it's fine to have negative opinions and negative views on that and a negative outlook on that. That's fine, but a lot of those years were when we were struggling as a football club. We didn't have a lot of money. We had to make do with what we had. We had a manager in David Moyes who was good at what he done, and that was stabilising the ship and keeping the consistency there and getting us in and around that top 10 consistently every year in, year out. So it's not being like we've had loads of money injected into the club for the entirety of those 25 years and we haven't done much with. That sort of comes into the last sort of 5 or 10 years of the football club since Farhad Moshiri has taken over. Previously, we didn't have a lot of money. We had to make do with what we had. So that was why there was a lot of mediocrity and there was a lot of inconsistency within the club until sort of David Moyes managed to steady the ship. Eugene says, seasons, agents against contacts. Everton. Wayne says, what's wrong with Hummel? I had to wear naff when I was younger. Stay humble, peeps. There you go. Wayne also says, Umbro had their fingers in too many pies. I think they were focused on too many other things, to be perfectly honest with you. I agree. Wayne says, hello everybody. How's everyone doing? I'm not too bad, mate. Hope you're doing well yourself. LCFC Boy says, I misread as Matt Hummels. No, Not Matt Hummels, mate. Wayne says, good, the sun is shining, weather is sweet. There you go, spot on. William says, hey, Matt Hummels is making all the kits now. I don't know what he is like with a sewing machine, but give it a go. LCFC Boy says, we have Adidas, good for money, but we template kits. There you go. Again, a Leicester fan there saying that, okay, they bring in a lot of money, and, you know, it's Adidas, they're that brand, but, you know, the kits are very similar to every other Adidas kit on the market. Eugene says, are you watching Everton Sunderland? Watch along today. I might try and catch it, mate. I'm not too sure, though. I'm going to try and get out and get some sun because I haven't been out today. I've been working. And then there says, people want a big manufacturer, but this deal was much more than Nike. Big Draw was an American company, so they could get more exposure in the US and worldwide, but you couldn't watch Everton on TV. There you go. And like, you know, again, I bring that point up to a lot of Everton fans and a lot of fans that are talking about the likes of your Nike and your Adidas. Everton have had their kits manufactured by Nike previously. This Hummel deal is a club record deal for Everton Football Club, which automatically, by proxy, means that Nike weren't paying us as much in 2012-13 and 13-14 as Hummel are now. So what's to say that Nike were there with a big lucrative offer, or Adidas were there with a big lucrative offer? What's to say that we approached those companies and they said, yeah, we'll give you 5 million a year, and we went, nah, we can get 10 million from Hummel and we'll have more focus on the stuff there, rather than just being another Nike customer, or, you know what I mean? Where are we? When we says, just remember when the kids are late, that's just poor. Matt in his basement. When we also says, stop second guessing yourself. And then this is, again, like I said in the past, these top manufacturers probably aren't okay with selling kits in the end of the season for £18. No money to be made. Fair point. It's not about the fans, it's about the money, which we've spoken a lot about recently. That's definitely the case for those big companies like your Nikes and Adidas's. William says, hey everyone. God says, with the issue, these companies look at the MLS, who has all their kits made by Adidas, and some of them look very similar. Exactly. Again, point proven. Wayne says, let's pummel them up the toffees, pummel them with Hummel. Abigail says, I don't really, it was still stupidly overpriced. Fair point. And £50 is probably overpriced for a lot of people, but it's a lot cheaper than 150, isn't it? Whammy says, Guts. Jess says, hiya, Whammy. Whammy says, hey, where were you last stream when people were making Cam say slightly rude things? I'm not going to fall for that again. Eugene says, Everton submit new bid for Champions League sensation after personal terms. Agreed. I assume that is Rabiot, but I don't know. God says, I had my friend that was going to bring me over the Everton home kit, and when he left he didn't have time, so he brought me over the 1984 FA Cup jersey. Fantastic. Jess says she's in work. William says, apparently we've sat, see, I read that as Ericsson and not the other word, but I'm not going to read the others. Rain says, Everton are rivaling Arsenal for Benfica winger Rafa Silva. Yeah, I've seen that before. Gord says, I know I paid £150 for customised Minnesota jersey for my mate. There you go. Ian says, couldn't agree more, Cam. Wayne says, Hummel can focus on us and knock out some boss designs. Hopefully. Mitchell says, can't compare yourselves with over the road. So what if they've got Moncler and you have Canada Goose as long as you're moving forward? Spot on, Mitchell. Really do agree with that one. And Andy says, I'm excited at most for the concept kits. They look fantastic. They do, but they're fan made, so it's not to say that there's any correlation between that, unless Hummel approach fans and say, listen, we like this concept, can we use it? Which will be obviously positive as well. Wayne says, big up to Paul Radell in 95 squad, spot on. Abigail says, Rafa, Silva, Pellegrini or Wendell and Gabriel this summer. I'd probably say Wendell and Gabriel, in my opinion. Ian says, who do you think Everton's main kit sponsorship will be? We're going to do a video on that. We're actually going to talk about that one on Friday. We're going to sit down and talk about, now that Hummel is the kit manufacturer, we're going to talk about potential kit sponsors for next season. Obviously, we know Sports Bees are leaving the football club, so there will be a new kit sponsor. Will it be one of Alisher Usmanov's companies? Like I said, we'll sit down and we'll talk about it on Friday. Mitchell says, I know you mentioned it, Cam, but the design is secondary. It's all about distribution. Who the fuck, Hummel, who the fuck is Sports Direct? It's proper small fry. Well, exactly. Who cares if people say, who the fuck is Hummel? Who cares? At the end of the day, if a Bolton fan or a Liverpool fan or a Watford fan or a Leicester fan are going, you're sponsored by Hummel, and then Hummel come out with an absolutely boss Everton kit for next season, and it's reasonably priced, and it comes out the day that they say it comes out, and there's enough kits for everybody on that day, and it's revealed in an amazing way, and the marketing behind it's fantastic. I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say. That's all I care about, mate. If it's right for Everton, it's right for me. Jess says, stay safe, I'm off. Thank you very much. Winters have fun in the sun. Boyme says, no mods, free for all, guys. No, please don't do a free for all. Carl says, I haven't felt confident until we got Carlo. There you go. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, please do hit the like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Really, really do. Really does mean a massive, massive amount to me. Big, big thanks for all of the support on Twitter as well. I put out a similar tweet earlier on about, the future of the football club and being positive, and a lot of people reacted well to it. I think it got over 100 likes, so massive, massive thanks for that. If you don't follow us on Twitter or Instagram, you can find the links in the description down below. But a big, big thanks for all of the support. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. We're aiming towards that 1,750 subscriber mark. Wayme says, I'm always confident we will win. Stuff might argue almost delusionally, but we will eventually be sooner for the better. Spot on. Wayme says, I was optimistic after that first season with Martinez, but not as hopeful as I am now. Huge next couple of months for the club. Spot on, mate. LCFC boy says, mentality is a big part of it. It is. Wayne says, Silva left us with one gift though. Richarlison, he very, very did. Wayme says, I don't like Dom Calcam. I don't think... I think you might be overrating him a little bit. He has potential undoubtedly and great attitude and work ethic. But there's work to be done. There's definitely work to be done, and maybe I am overrating him, but I just absolutely love him. I really do. So I says we've had a few years of mediocrity under Carlo. Feel we can win things. Carlo hasn't come to Everton to coast along. He's come to win things. Exactly, mate. LCFC boy says, from an outside fan would say you're similar to us with the top manager, great owners, and heading in the right direction. Fair point. Where are we? Wayne says, selling players like Lineker and buying strikers like Cotti, what you expect. No wonder Barcelona is still feeding us players forever in our doubt. Wayne says, so have you missed the bit where someone thought Hummels was Matt Hummels? No, I got up to that one. Carl says, the last 5 years have been embarrassing. Wasted our money on crap, appointed crap managers and directors. Failed to replace Lukaku, Barkley, Jagielka and Morales. A club of our size getting a full. Exactly. Wait, just go back on Toffee TV. I'm more than happy to go back onto Toffee TV when they want me on. Listen, obviously, again, the poor transfer business over the years and bringing in, the players that probably cost too much money and aren't worth the money. That's all part of that past. Like I said, I'm not looking past now anymore, because there's been far too many years of inconsistency, of poor performances, of poor signings, of poor managerial appointments. I'm not looking past that now. I'm just looking at the fact that Carlo Ancelotti is the manager of Everton Football Club, and we've got some real talented players. We've got a manager who has got pull power to bring in some even more talented players. And we've got a fantastic stadium on the horizon, and the future looks brilliant. And we've got a kit manufacturer now that looks like they want to get their head down and just solely focus on the manufacturing of our footballing kits and gear and training wear and lounge wear, and making sure that everybody at Everton Football Club, including the fans, is happy with that manufacturing. And that's all that matters to me. Where are we then? Cal says, sorry I'm late. Throw time sorted they Cam. Yeah, it's I haven't drunk enough water, to be honest with you, mate. I'm a little bit croaky, but that's all. No, nothing else. Cal says, fans don't get it. We don't play tiki-taka. Barcelona-esque footy. Moyes had defensive footy, but Goodison was the third most feared away ground for teams behind Fergie, Old Trafford and Carlos Chelsea. Yeah, well, and again, that's a part of the atmosphere and the club going forward, as we need to make Goodison a fortress again, and that slowly but surely is happening with the signing and things like that. But that's all things to look forward to in the future. Ian says, what could Hummel's first Everton kits look like? Royal Blue Mersey, hopefully brilliant. Carl says, Carlo doesn't care about style, all matters is results, exactly. And Wayne says, what beer are you having first when the pubs reopen? Go for the watermelon recorder league with ice. I'll probably go with a nice cold San Miguel, to be honest with you, mate. And then just get smashed. Just get absolutely smashed. It only takes me about 1.5 San Miguel to get pissed, to be fair. So, yeah. There you go. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's live stream. Listen, if you've enjoyed, please do hit that like button. Like I said, a big thanks for all of the support on the little video we done earlier on about the Hummel deal. But I want to come on the live stream and just be positive. The sun's shining. We're in an uncertain time at the moment, but it's very, very important that we be as positive as we possibly can when we can. And I think that although this day might be seen by some Evertonians as negative, I think it's positive, because for me, like I said at the start of the stream, We haven't been in as better a position in the last 25 years as we are now. We've got a new kit manufacturer on the way who look to be the business in terms of the fact that they're going to get their head down, work hard. We're their biggest customer, so they're going to want to do all that they can to impress us, and we've got a fantastic manager. In fact, one of the best managers ever to have graced the pitch. You know, we've never had a manager in our past that's won Champions Leagues, Premier League, Serie A's, Bundesligas, Ligue 1s, the Champions League whilst he was at Real Madrid in Spain. He's won best manager, world's best manager 3 times. We've never had a manager of that calibre. We've now got a manager of that calibre, so I'm not really focusing on Roberto Martinez or Marco Silva's Everton or David Moyes' Everton or Mike Walker's Everton or Sam Allardyce's Everton. I don't care about those days. I'm solely focused on the future and the positivity of the future. LCFC boys, do you think a new ground atmosphere will translate? I hope so, but it's one of those big risks that, you know, we're not going to really know until we move in and we see it. Carl says, I hate on Tom Davis. He doesn't have terrible games. He has bad games. He's a good player who fights to get stuck in. Potentially he's 21 and has over 100 games. Exactly, spot on. Wayne says, surely everyone should have a corona. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Real says, better days are coming. Reece says, better days are coming soon. Spot on, mate, they are. Even to see about the toffee seen on Friday evening. Thank you very much. Wayne says, have a good one, bro. Hang in there. Sports back soon. They are. Obviously, Everton back in training today. So yeah, the return of the Premier League is imminent. It really, really is. We'll probably talk a little bit about that on Friday as well. Cal says, no, but we shouldn't move stadiums. Goodison was and always will be our home, but we have to ultimately in order to expand. And LCSC boys says, I hope you don't. Goodison was a cracking away day. It is, I assume. But, you know, I hope we can translate the atmosphere as well. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's last team. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It'll only take a second. Let's look forward to the future now. Forget about the past. Forget about the past 25 years. Forget about the mediocrity. Forget about the inconsistency. We've got one of the best managers to ever live who's going to bring consistency and is going to bring the quality of football that we know and we love for Everton Football Club. He's going to win us trophies, he's going to win us silverware. We've got boss players and we've got a lot to look forward to in the future. Please leave a like on the live stream if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll be back on Friday 5:15 PM for another live stream. Big thanks for all of the support. Big thanks for all of the support on our Twitter and Instagram as well. You can follow those in the links down in the description below. And Anders says, hope everyone is well. Be safe, guys. Thank you very much. And Anders, you too. Don't forget to join us on Friday 5:15 PM. Massive thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed. And I'll see you soon on